Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding state holidays. Our fax number is 816-776-3503. To report suspected child abuse or neglect, please call the toll-free hotline at 1-800-392-3738. For the Children's Division and information about child abuse and neglect, adoption, foster care, or family-centered services, please press 0. For the Family Support Division, using questions about the following programs: Good View, Missouri Health Net, Child Care Temporary Assistance, and Child Support, you may now call toll free at 1-855-373-4636 or access your secure account online at www.dfs.gov and select Family Support Division enrollment. To speak with the Ray County Family Support Division, please press 0. Using the dial pad, please enter the extension you wish to call. To use the directory, press pound. To leave a message, one moment, please.
Hello. I would like to speak with one of the supervisors or possibly the head person over this office. It's for an incident for Carroll County.
Okay. Was it who was it regarding?
Well, the case was actually regarding me, but I don't know what the name of the caseworker was.
Okay, and what is your name?
Ashley Canfield.
Just a moment. Okay, the supervisor's Karen Shackley. She's here, but she's on another phone line. So
Okay.
do you want to hold? You want to just leave her a voicemail and she comes back, or what?
I will hold. Probably. It'd probably be a little bit, don't you think?
Okay, probably won't be too long. So
Okay.
hold on.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
This is Karen.
Hi, Karen. This is Ashley Canfield. I think possibly we had talked the last time. It's probably well over a month ago. I had still not heard anything back from her,
Okay.
or had even gotten a letter.
Well, I know that she's not completed the report, but I believe she's just in the process of typing it up.
So has she found cause in order to extend that? I mean, I know I don't know anything about this process, but I was reading online and the state statute said it was 45 days from the start of it.
And we have a maximum of 90 days.
Okay. Well, I was also wondering, I thank you for letting me know that, because it's not that I was worried about it, and I still kind of am, because obviously there was a DFS call, so there was reason for someone to think something, but um, it's kind of odd the day that I had the DFS call that my husband was up at the courthouse filing for an order of ex parte.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that whole thing is very iffy and suspicious too, because there is another child that's involved that wasn't here during that DFS call. But a week prior to that, Casey Harrison was arrested for abuse and neglect charges, and Kyle Harrison was removed from the home. And they would not, when the police came, they wouldn't leave him there, leave him here.
Right.
I don't understand why, because I was a non-offending person within the home, and that's where he lived.
Because you were in the home
Okay.
at the time that the incident occurred.
Okay, so that's why they wouldn't.
So that's why he could not stay in the home, is because he was injured in the home when everyone was present, and that injury still occurred.
Okay.
So Children's Division looks at that as that he is no longer safe to stay in the home.
Okay, even when that unsafe person is gone. So even though this allegedly occurred, and when the officers, when they came, the officers, they did their jobs amazingly. But when they came and they started taking pictures, they asked me, that's when they had started questioning me, as if I had done something.
Yeah.
And the boy stood up and he said, she didn't know anything about it. How would I not know if I was in the home if it occurred? And I heard the whole thing, but that's not what I'm wanting to talk about. So the police took this boy and they said they put him in city placement. What's the protocol that revolves around that with the child being removed? They said he voluntarily, it was voluntary placement according to what the sergeant said that following Friday. So then what would they do with him? I mean, I know exactly where he was because I've got all that information. The prosecutor here deemed that, I was, or not the prosecutor, but the secretary. She said, it was okay for me to know because I had gotten the letter from the victim's advocate stating that if I was subpoenaed, I would have to bring Kyle. And I didn't have Kyle because they had already placed him somewhere else. But my question with that was, when the police come and they remove the child and then they place them somewhere, within the community, what kind of place could that be? Does it need to be pre-approved?
Typically what happens is that they try to work with the parent and the family as to where the child can go. And then Children's Division ends up called, and we try to work ongoing with the family.
Well, in Children's Division, that lady, she didn't get involved until the next day.
Right.
And the next day, he was already in jail. So the city placed him on their own because there was no family.
Okay.
So in that situation, when the city places them and because there is no family around, what would they do?
There would still be a father for them to have a conversation with. For dad to say yes, it's okay for kid to go there, or no, it's not.
But he never gave consent. He never gave any type of opinion except for to the caseworker that next day.
Okay.
And the reason why I have that question is because nothing has still been answered regarding this child that was taken from my home. No letter has ever been sent. Nothing.
And you probably will not get contact on that. It'll
Well,
go to his father.
His father got nothing either.
Okay. And to my knowledge, that case is not closed either.
Okay, so it has to be closed because the statute that I read said it was within 10 days of something, the juvenile court. But
that would be if the court took protective custody of him.
Well, we don't even know that.
I'm unfortunately not able to answer a lot of those questions for you, because you're not his dad or his mom.
Well, I completely understand that, but I'm just saying this was a child that was within my home, and then a week later I have a DFS call, but I mean the situation's kind of intertwined because that call was because my husband was harassing me, and I can't say that it was because of that, but the events leading up to that, which I did explain to this DFS worker, so that's why I couldn't understand why it hadn't been closed yet, but I do know she's probably really busy.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what happens. Like if we don't have a finding, unfortunately, those cases get put on the back burner until we don't get those typed up as quickly as what we should.
Well, I feel at least a little bit more comforted in that fact, but it's still, I mean, I do understand that, no information is going to be given to me regarding Kyle or where he's even at now, unless I go through the court system here to request it, which I probably could, but
I don't know that the court will have that information if it was done through my office, but his dad should know.
But the thing is, ma'am, he doesn't. The last time he talked to the DFS caseworker, she told him she would only meet him at the police department in the presence of an officer. And he said he needed to talk with his lawyer. The lawyer has not gotten any information regarding this child. He hasn't either.
That's not correct because I have tried to contact that attorney.
Have you? Well, that attorney just yesterday just put in a withdrawal.
Okay.
So, and it was regarding the question of where's his son, because he had asked his attorney 3 or 4 times just since last Wednesday. And the attorney just got, I guess, because I overheard the conversation, he just got a little angry and just said, well, he was going to withdraw. He was not a family court lawyer. Well, this is a criminal case.
Right.
But he wants to know where his son's at. He hasn't received any paperwork or anything. So just he hasn't seen his son in almost 3 months. And no word, does he even still have custody? Or was that taken? Or was there a protection order? There's so many questions.
If custody would have been taken, he would have court hearings regarding that.
Okay. Well, and that was my biggest concern is, because this kid was part of it.
I'm very happy to talk to him.
Okay.
I just can't give you that information because you're not a party to that case.
Okay, and your name was what?
My
It was
name's
Karen. Okay,
Yep.
Karen. Okay, I will let him know so that he can call you, because I know he was very concerned about his son, and he's asked his lawyer several times that there's issues, and ma'am, there is a main issue here. I received a photo of some alleged injuries from this boy while he was in custody from my husband.
Wait, back up. You received photos from your husband
on the child, you guys.
Other son?
No, my friend Casey Harrison, his son Kyle Harrison. I received a copy of a conversation between my sister-in-law Misty Canfield and Christina Kasdorf. They were having a conversation about Kyle and his abuse and what Casey did to him. And there was also a picture that came with that. Now, that came from my husband to me, which I did show Casey, because the whole question and the events leading up to that DFS call on me, I do believe it was done by my husband, because he told me that I needed to get Casey away from his kids because it wasn't safe, and he had just found out. He had just found out. He said the police told him everything. Later on, he said they didn't, but they told him to check CaseNet. That's when he found out that, situation that had happened. All he read was what was on CaseNet. But then Misty and Christina Kasdorf start having a conversation regarding the child you say you guys have in placement or whatever.
We don't have him in custody.
Okay, but you have him in placement.
So that was done by law enforcement prior to our involvement, yes.
Okay. Well.
So is there a relationship between Christina and Missy?
Yeah, they're friends.
Okay, so they were friends before all of this happened. No?
Ma'am, also the other thing is, this father, he was having a relationship with Christina Kasdorf. She was the woman that called. She made the hotline call that night.
Father?
Casey Harrison.
Casey was in a
He was in a sexual relationship with Christina Kasdorf. She's married to Jeremiah Kasdorf. They were the people that the police department placed Kyle with.
Okay.
And they knew that, and the caseworker knows that. And he's not, like I said, Casey hadn't been given any information on it. I will have him call you, because he is concerned. He wanted to know what was going on. He asked his lawyer, and the lawyer just withdrew.
Okay.
And this is all after, he finally has this photo and the conversation. So right before that preliminary hearing that was just scheduled regarding this, that prosecutor said these pictures, the picture that I got from my husband that came from that conversation that I just told you about, those injuries were not consistent with the police department photos. So then the DA, or the prosecutor, she gives an offer, a plea bargain. Basically, he takes it was 7 years probation, 5 years probation, and the SIS probation. All the charges go away. He's not even charged. So with the thing, this new photo that's circulating, all I can tell you is that the prosecutor told the lawyer when she gave the plea bargain, if Casey went ahead with this preliminary hearing and the judge heard any, all of the evidence, then that deal was off the table. So he waived his preliminary hearing by advice of the lawyer that just withdrew. But the issue is where's Kyle? At that last hearing, his mother was there, his biological mother. She lost custody, but that was in 2008. This woman lives with a registered sex offender. She's married to him. And she had to give up rights to the youngest child that she had. And when she did that,
has no rights to Kyle?
As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Harrison is the full custodial parent of Kyle and Kaylee Harrison. As far as the state of Arkansas is concerned, that is why there's such a big problem with this, because we don't know where Kyle is. I heard he went with his mother, the biological mother. Now, where the DFS reports from Arkansas and Missouri, where are those in her background check before, if she did? I don't know. Like I said, Mr. Harrison will be calling to talk to you, because he had tried to talk with the caseworker, and I can't tell you what went on between them and their conversation, but it was not right. The fact that, I mean, even when the DFS caseworker came for me, she brought a police officer. Is that standard protocol? Because I've never been violent.
Yeah, it is in most cases.
In most cases, okay. I'm just concerned with everything that's going on, because the police department protocol, in the discovery, there's no DFS reports. I don't know if there should be. And even in that discovery, it says attached is the body cam footage of my kids' testimony, of my kids' statement, because I'm guessing Officer Allen, when I took them to talk to him voluntarily, these children went and talked. He said that we had to hold on because we had to call the juvenile officer, so he got it all on audio cam. But in the copy Mr. Harrison had gotten, he didn't get the disc. He said it's possible the lawyer did, but the one thing is, with Kyle being in custody or placement wherever he's at, how does my husband end up getting a photo of that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, that happened because I have it, because he gave it to me in conversation, trying to tell me how bad of a person Mr. Harrison is, and my husband doesn't even know him. And I just got an order of protection entered against me for the basis of harassment, when in fact what my husband claimed I did, that harassment, he had me arrested in November by Officer Looney, Sergeant Looney now, and I was never charged. He never had the evidence. I'm guessing from what the officer told me, he saw this and came and talked to me and arrested me, fingerprinted me. My lawyer for this protective hearing requested those reports. The police department they told her they don't have them. She never got them. From my arrest for my harassment that he claims, that was the one basis claim. But that's not even the real kicker on that protective order. The things my husband wrote, Casey abused his son in front of my children. And then there's a few other things on there too. One is there's drug use in front of the minor children. That was one of the things that was on my hotline call, that I was a drug addict. And this DFS worker asked me if I would submit a drug test, and I said no. And I said no, because I believe it's just further harassment on the attempts that my husband is trying to do, and he has done, and he gets to continue to do, because he assaulted me back in 2013, and he strangled me. And all there is here with this police department is the photo. There's nothing else. No police reports, nothing, no arrest, even though they took him from the home in handcuffs, not even fingerprints. So that's why this is such a big issue, because even when my DFS worker was here, we showed the police officer that came with her the conversation that my husband was texting Mr. Harrison 2 days before, where he threatens him, or me, I don't know which one it was, because it said, does Ashley think this is funny? And then it said, this is all fun and game. It's all fun and games until somebody ends up in the ICU. And that's all, just surrounding this. Big question is, not even really for me, where's Kyle? But where's Kyle? He left my home. He's just my friend, I'm concerned for the kid. But I get a hotline call, and 2 out of the 3 things that were said occurred in Misty Stewart's house, the same woman this photo comes from that was having the conversation with Christina Kasdorf. But the injuries aren't consistent according to the prosecutor. So I don't know what happened, but like I had said, I was in the home. I did not hear abuse. I didn't hear strangling. There's something wrong with all of this. Mr. Harrison has not received anything, not even a piece of mail here from the DFS worker. And he's been the custodial parent since 2008. That woman has no custody. I don't even see why she was even allowed to be called. I mean, I understand if she's the biological mother, but is there paternity, or maternity? I don't know.
Yeah,
Background.
Maternity is not something that happens. There's no maternity.
No, well, there is, because I saw it on CaseNet. It was Jamie Hughes and her son.
I've never heard of maternity testing.
Well, it's paternal, but it was only for the mother, though. That was just another case I'd seen. It does exist, at least here in Carroll County.
Okay.
But I'm just concerned with everything. Yeah. Because it's too much.
I'm happy to talk to Casey.
Okay.
If Casey wants to give me a call and talk about his son.
I would really appreciate that so much.
Unfortunately not able to give you.
Oh, I get that. I completely understand that fully.
So I will talk to Mallory again and see how close we are to getting your report typed up.
Okay.
But typically, if you haven't heard anything from us, it's because we've just gotten behind in our typing and getting stuff typed up.
Well, and I also had a hotline call from a few years ago, which nothing ever became of it, but I didn't receive a letter from that either. I just want to make sure that if things are closed, that they are.
I would assume that it is. I have no reason to believe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she never came back, and the lady even told me, she's like, a lot of people have pest problems. And I said, I know, and I'm taking care of it. And I even showed her the can of spray I had.
Yeah.
But I certainly appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No problem. Yep, let me know.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring your stuff up, but she asked about the prior DFS call to my house before that one could close the case. So that's why I started talking about it. All you have to do is call the DFS office and No, it's not. It's right here. All you have to do is just call Karen. She seemed baffled. No, you got something. Nope. No. Wait. And she even said, that mother has no custodial rights. The mother?
You lighter.
Sorry, here.
Fuck, I'm tired of you doing that. Here, right here. Use this one.
since you're without a lawyer, you can, I don't know if you can. You can't talk to the prosecutor's office regarding your own case because it's a felony. I know.
So what the fuck about this lady again? Who's this lady?
Karen Shackley.
Who is she?
She's the head supervisor over our whole division. She's in the Ray County. Huh?
Okay, is she in Ray County?
She's in Ray County. I thought about calling the one that's over the circuit, but Karen was the one that I had talked to before, because my shit needs to be closed. One thing has everything to do with the other, and they need to see that Christina and Misty Stewart fucked it up for them well after the fact they fucked it up for themselves. I was considered, Kyle could not stay in the home because this is where the abuse occurred. Even though the problem,
But your kids could stay in the
home?
home?
Yeah. That's just what she said.
Wow.
No, he was in placement with the city. The city placed him until, well, at first she said the DFS worker, she would, go ahead.
Okay, finish talking.
First she said the DFS worker would have or you would have had communications with the officers to tell them where Kyle could go. And I said, no. You didn't talk to anyone regarding Kyle until the next day, and that was the caseworker. You should have received a paper that day.
Finish saying what she said.
She said you should have received a paper that day. It wouldn't have said where, but it would have, I'm guessing it would have listed what you said.
Right.
That DFS worker.
Would there have been a background check?
There would have been background checks on everyone before placement, even by the city's placement.
Okay, so when does she want me to call her?
Whenever you want to. She said she had even tried to get a hold of that lawyer, your lawyer.
When?
She didn't say when. She can't tell me.
For what?
To talk to him. I don't know why. Probably because you did decline. I would use the word declined, not refused. Declined to sign their temporary custody paper for the educational and medical purposes. The reason, you fought too fucking long to get full custody of your kids. For them to fucking do this.
Well, no. The reason was this 90-day stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And they've already said, they said for medical needs. Well, they've already taken them to the hospital.
Yeah, so they don't need.
Yeah.
Obviously, they don't need authorization because the police chief ordered that.
Right.
16 hours and 45 minutes. So I think it was, he left the police department at 11 that night. I think that's what the discovery said. But I mean, she's got the discovery. She's got everything sitting right there in front of her. She can't talk to me on it? No, ma'am. No. He never received anything, not even any mail here. He would have had to have received something. Yeah, well, the law says within 10 days by the juvenile court. Well, it's not, there's pretty much the juvenile court's not in it.
Right.
But therefore, by default, the other part to that statute, which I didn't tell her, it says 14 days. I wrote it down. Somewhere. You know what can happen if they fucking drop their shit? Because they dropped the ball before this new attorney of yours puts in his motion for appearance, or even before he appears. You get your money back. Not all of it, but most of it. If you can get it completely, dismissed without prejudice. I just wanted to know, why hasn't mine been closed? Well, the reason she gave me was a lot of times other things take precedent over these, and there was no cause. No.
Was this the last one? What she gave you? Would you?
No, there's more in there.
Oh, is there? What she get? How'd you get stuff?
I asked her.
Okay. How would she give you?
Probably. I'd say more than that quarter, or about that quarter.
Oh,
I
yeah?
put half of it in there.
And so you didn't sleep at all?
Huh? I did sleep. About an hour, maybe. Well, my eyes were closed. This shit is different, though. It was wet, if you take a look at it.
I'm not worried about it. What's this number that I need to call him at?
I'll pull it. Do you have your screen recorder with you? I would record it.
I don't have my screen recorder. I have my...
Oh,